All right, hi, I'm Julian Jackson with Tanya Lechner, and we're going to give our Motivational Monday recap from LPT Realty. You want to start us off, Tanya?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Tanya Lechner, and the reason that we decided to go ahead and do something like this is because LPT is always offering updates and giving us information, and we want to share it with everybody else. And the cool thing about Motivational Monday is that you can actually log on, even if you're not part of LPT, if you're just curious about how cool our CEO is and everything that he has to offer and all the changes and updates that he's doing just to make the company even bigger and better every week.
Absolutely, yeah. And we know this particular week was really exciting news because they came up with so much more than we ever expected. And I know from watching it, I got excited, and I'm like thinking, what is all this extra stuff that Robert keeps, intentionally teasing us with? And then we got to see it. So he's talked about a few things we're going to jump in today, not necessarily everything, but a few of the things that we think are key points to bring up so that if you are thinking about LPT as an option, at least you'll kind of get an idea of how pretty much every week we might end up with some exciting news from our CEO because he's trying to make this the best brokerage in history. And those are his words, not mine. So,
in the history of the world.
Yeah, that's right. The history of the world, right? That was kind of funny, but yes. Yeah. All right. So starting off, we'll jump right into the first thing that we found out this past Monday was that we had as it says there, the $1 billion hat trick, right? So we had 3 months in a row where we were over $1 billion, which I think that puts us in the top 10 brokerages across the country, if I'm not mistaken. And you remember him saying we're in the top 10?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. And that's Robert Palmer's the CEO of LPT Realty. And then we have Matt Hodges, who is the executive vice president. And they do this every Monday to let us know what's going on. And they made it pretty clear, like when we crossed the $1 billion mark, that we were actually big time. So with 10,000 agents in just 2 years, we're now reaching sales volume in this range. And we've done it for 3 months in a row. So obviously we're just getting bigger and better. Anything you want to add?
No, it's all, the proof is in the pudding, right? The numbers don't lie. And this is only with, a few over 10,000 agents. So, and not even all 50 states. So
that's right.
It's only, soon enough, we're going to be having probably $10 billion months, I'm sure.
Yeah, you got a good point. Yeah, now I think about it, you're right. This is only 25 states. We're only in half the states right now. And so he did mention that there's going to be a bigger push toward the end of the year. But right now they're trying to get all these things in place with the current agents so that we can, kind of build the infrastructure, so to speak, for what's about to come. So this is like only good news, and it'll only get better.
Yep, exactly.
All right. Did you want to jump into a little bit about the new agent choice upgrades?
Yeah, so I think this is a really great offering that they just threw out there, which is Follow Up Boss. So currently we do have Lofty, which is included, or you can pay for an upgraded option. And again, we don't have any office fees or anything like that to start with. So these are all just anything in addition that you want to possibly add. Because I know newer agents like to come in with the $0, but then kind of like a la carte, add some other services. I'm not 100% sure about KV Core. I haven't used that one, but I have used Follow Up Boss, and I love Follow Up Boss. It, to me, is easier to use even more than Lofty for different reasons, right? So they all have like one or two good things. Maybe you can touch on KV Core, but I was super excited to see that Follow Up Boss is going to be in here.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole point. And Robert reiterated this over and over. The core values for LPT are always going to be agent choice and real estate first. So this is one of the examples here where he's saying, a lot of people were saying it's nice to have that free option, but we all know that typically when it's free, it's the one that's the least user friendly. So that's what a lot of people have been discovering. Now, that's fine. It's almost like the way I train agents. It's like if you don't have money up front for a marketing budget, then you're going to have to put in the time to work. You're going to have to type up your own ads. You're going to have to write your own content. You have to do all of that stuff on your own. So with Lofty, if you're in that free account, the enterprise account, which is always free, then yes, you're going to have to spend more of the time manually getting stuff done. But with these options, if you decide, you know what, I've closed a couple of deals, and because I'm only paying $500 per transaction plus the $195 transaction fee after 10 deals, I'm not paying any additional money. then maybe it does make sense. Like, since you're not spending money on an 80-20 split or 70-30, 60-40, some of the other brokerages that have those splits out there, this $49 isn't going to be so cumbersome. So these are some of the options that are available. And as Tanya said, like the solo instance versus enterprise, KV Core, or follow-up boss. Now, from my perspective, if you're used to KV Core, I think that's pretty much the case with all of these. If you're used to any of these, that's probably the one you're most familiar with and the one you're probably going to like more. Now, I think follow-up boss does primarily follow-up. There's no tie-in for like the IDX, whereas KV Core does have a tie-in with the IDX. So you're going to have a website where you can pull properties from, whereas follow-up boss is primarily for follow-up with emails, texts, phone calls, etc. So the fact is, you got options, and that's always a good thing. So
yeah, and I don't know how many brokers even offer these options, but I know none of the brokers that I worked for, and this is my fourth, like I mentioned last time, I haven't seen any of them offer any of these as
absolutely
an option, even for $50, because follow-up boss was like close to $100 whenever I had it. So
yeah, and I'm going to hint at the final slide where we have a la carte menu of all the stuff that's going to be added for a fee. And when you see all the other things that we're going to jump into, it just separates LPT like nobody's business, because exactly what you're saying. I've been with multiple brokerages where I've seen KV Core, I've seen follow-up boss, I've seen all of these, but to be able to give people options like this, and it's only $49, which is about half of what you're going to pay for even some of the cheaper systems. The ones that are more expensive, $49 wouldn't cover anything for an actual solo instance of KV Core. But because Robert has grown the brokerage to this level, we're able to get really good deals because of the amount of people that we have. So, and this is all coming in July, the end of July, in this year. So it's right around the corner. All right. And then the final piece that we'll cover today, there was a whole lot more, and we'll get into that in the other slide where we'll do our summation there. But as you can see here, another part of agent choice is transaction management. A lot of people got used to SkySlope, especially if they come from another cloud-based brokerage. SkySlope has a fantastic platform. Me personally, I don't see much of a difference between SkySlope and .loop, but apparently, again, if you're used to one versus the other, then of course, that's going to make a difference to you. Whereas if you're used to working with technology and all of it looks the same, then probably won't be that big a deal. But there's also an additional one to be determined. We don't know what that's going to be yet. But look at the cost on there, Tanya. I mean, $10 a month to add additional tool. What do you think?
I thought that was insane. Like I first of all thought .loop for free was crazy, but then you add SkySlope, you can also get for $10 a month. Like for me, whenever I came in, I was used to using SkySlope, and so it was a learning curve for me to get into .loop, which is to be expected. With any broker that I'd switch to, I had to learn, and so now having this option for like $10 a month is amazing. Like I had to pay $100 for SkySlope again at the last broker, and so I don't even know what their $10 is, like literally nothing.
Cover, right? It's like what part are we getting? A little bit of SkySlope or the whole thing, right? No,
I'm like, can you use it all? But I still use SkySlope now for some things, so I'm super excited about having it for $10.
Yeah. And then he said there's another one to be determined. I'm like, I've seen several, so I don't know which one is coming, but hey, whatever it is for $10, it can't be bad.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. We're all super exciting upgrades for us.
Yeah. And this is really just a minimum amount of what we got yesterday. And even the next slide, as we go through this, I mean, I don't know how to describe everything in it, but I think it's pretty clear that when Robert says he's trying to make this the best brokerage in the history of the world, he's not joking. So we'll kind of go through these little by little, but what it boils down to is, there's the 0 monthly fee. Everybody in LPT can have that. It's $500,000 or $500 and $5,000 cap as of the 100% commission, and then $195 per transaction. So that's pretty much for everybody, but that's under the Business Builder program. Now, if you want to be under what is called the brokerage partner plan or hybrid share, is the combination of the two. If you're under the brokerage partner, that's where you can collect your rev share and you basically do an 80-20 split, but that's also where they separate a lot of these benefits. So as you can see here, there's going to be the LTP plus benefits, $89 a month for the brokerage partners and $149 a month for the business builders. and then I'll just kind of go through a couple of these, and we'll kind of talk back and forth on these. It's like as you see here, it includes the monthly prospecting, nurture leads, leads training and coaching. What do you remember them discussing about that?
As far as the prospecting, there was like an additional like lead generating tool that they showed us, and that was really cool.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes. So the one thing that actually stood out to me on this whole page, which I thought was crazy, was that it included a health insurance program. I was like, wait, what? Did I read that right? Like, it was crazy. And then another part that stood out was the done for you listing marketing, because I mean, I have to pay a lot of money up front. And so the fact that
Oh,
they're
yeah.
on the back end for you to get listing photography, I mean, the sign installation, I'll pay $500 for somebody to go install a sign for me, because that is a
I
huge
just realized yeah, that's interesting. Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, and you do a lot more listings than I do. I do mostly buyer rep and new build. So yes, I can see even for the few that I've done, I didn't even catch that yesterday. So as I'm looking at this, it's like it includes access to done for you listing marketing. Okay, photos I'm familiar with, yard signs I'm familiar with, but the thought that because I'm not heavy into the listing side, putting a yard sign in isn't a big deal to me. But if you have 4 or 5 listings, that's probably the last thing you want to do. If it's like I got to put out 5 signs today. No,
In the Texas
I'll
heat,
do that.
yeah, not in the Texas heat. No, thank you.
Yeah, gotcha. And then the open house marketing, all this included in a 3-year seller post closing campaign. So I totally understand. Even with the transaction coordinator, when you do listings, they expect you to pay up front. So the fact that you actually get to save this money until the closing happens, man, it's amazing. Yeah, and then I know for me, some of the things that got my attention includes a Zoom enterprise account. I have one, and I know how much it costs. So it may not be $89, but it is a smaller portion. That if I take that plus the other things it's offering, cash offer marketing program, I've seen that with OfferPad. Now we're going to have our own, but it also does a cash offer with a bunch of other stuff. I can't even remember half the stuff that Zoodealio does, but it's so much more than just cash offer. And I think they pay a portion up front in some situations and then pay the rest later. CE certifications, anybody I just finished my CE. So I know that was, a couple of $100 just to get that knocked out. And then I remember the AM appreciation marketing cards. All right. So for anyone who is not familiar with that, this is basically automatic follow-up for your past clients. And they don't just send like reminder cards or emails. I think there was it like brownies and some other stuff they would send?
Yeah, it's great. Like, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the send out cards. That's what I'm familiar with. But the guy that created that actually branched off and did AM cards, and you can write your own notes and sign them, and it looks like it's personally sent from you, so you're not actually having to write the card. And so it's just like a game changer when it comes to like keeping in touch with your past clients and maybe even future clients. If you wanted to use it for that, you could really use it for anything.
Yeah. And I mean, again, I'm like, all of this for $89. I'm just thinking a Zoom alone is worth that. Then I look at the rest of the stuff. I'm like, man, and I missed the Real Scout. I don't remember everything about it, but I remember the way they described it. I'm just like, I'm already in. Like this, I'm on the broker partner side, and I believe you are too because you're a team leader. So I mean, to me, $89 is what I would pay for anything. So the $89 that I've heard, some people pay just for being part of a brokerage, we're actually have an option to purchase this. Now, I think he did say we may have to do a year-long contract. It's not going to be just if you sign up, you get to cancel right at any point in time, because once they have people making the payments on this, I guess they don't want the whoever they bargained with to go, hey, your people are just coming in and out of the program, and we don't have any consistency here. So it makes sense. Maybe a year, 6 months. I don't know what they're going to come up with, but if you get started with the program for $89 and the brokerage partner side, I can't see where it's not well worth it. And obviously, if you're doing better, you can make the choice to be part of it. If you're not doing really well and you're brand new in the industry or something, maybe you don't want to do this. So again, it's agent choice. And I think it's the perfect way to add benefits to our company without having people be overwhelmed with the cost.
Yep, exactly. That's that's why I'm so passionate about the company, right? Because it's just
Right.
like, if you went on to any other broker, they would charge $100 a month easy, and you're not getting anything out of it. Like, I mean, just speaking from experience, there may be a broker out there that you've paid some money, but I don't think anything offers this much.
Yeah. And you bring up a good point. I mean, a lot of them say free, and then you end up paying a monthly fee. I'm like, I'm not tracking that. How do you say free and there's a monthly fee? Now, at least with LPT, it's an option. So he can legally say, yes, we don't charge you anything until you close a transaction. But we do offer more if you need more, which you go from LPT to LPT plus. So to me, it's fair. It makes sense. And I don't feel like we're trying to do something that is like getting away with something or getting away with stuff.
Right. No, this was super exciting. And I mean, they mentioned like 10 other things on that Motivational Monday call, but
Yep.
I think we didn't want to overwhelm everybody with that right away.
No, we'll just start with this and call it a day, right? Because I mean, there's so much more we'll get into, maybe next week. And every Monday, we'll basically do our motivational recap for Motivational Mondays with our meeting. And that way we can keep people in touch, and anyone who's interested in LPT, they can stay current with everything that's going on with the company through you and me.
Yep, exactly. That's what we're here for.
All right, good deal. Well, again, I'm Julian Jackson with
Tanya Lechner.
And we're both part of the Dynamic Agents team with LPT Realty. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yep. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.